This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Been waiting a long time, can't hide so I let it in. Each step through the dark, I feel it all, feel it all. Break off from the shoreline, choose all that I've never been. Her voice is the North Star, through it all, through it all. All it calling me, never look back through the deepest red. Straight falling and burning blue fire going up in my head, yeah. Your kiss stains you, show me the way. Darkness will fall and break through the wall and let go and feel the rain. Fighting pure hell.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, September the 18th of 2025, day 261st of the year, and only 104 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, hanging out on Radio Big, doing the stuff that we get to do, no doubt about that, as we are hanging out and moving into the multiverse of things and stuff and all of that kind of fun stuff. So how have you been? How's the last 24 hours been? Yeah, always a good time taking a look at what the hell's going on stateside. That's for sure, as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what our show consists of. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. Just kind of the layout of the land of the things that we do. No doubt about that. So you come in, we hang out, we talk about some new stuff, we talk about safety stuff, and then we blend it all together into that world of ours of doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process in doing so. Callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. So that will get everything moving and grooving for you. Once you do that, the options are yours. We're a radio show that is on a podcast network that also goes across on a video streaming platforms. Video streaming platforms are all across. So that's most social media aspects. Or you can go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says visual radio. Visual radio. And that will get everything moving and grooving for you. So if you're good with that, I'm good with it too, and then we just get moving. So that's the simple process. We also hang out with some friends from Feature Story News. They tell us about what the hell's going on, and then we kind of just go through the whole plethora of things. There is no doubt on how we do some of this stuff. So with that being said, why don't we do this? Why don't we start talking immediately? Yes, immediately about what the hell was trending in the overnight action.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends, it goes something like this. What's on tap, notable and noteworthy, entering giant teams, entertainment giant teams up with an AI in a new lawsuit. We'll talk about that. Also, an arrest has been made for Beyonce's stolen music. Really? Beyonce had stolen music? I didn't know this. And drama continues for Denise Richard. We'll talk about that more in show business. Also, Amy Poehler wants comedies to be contenders in the Oscar race. We'll talk about details and casting calls. Comedies. Huh. Anyways, King Charles hosts President Trump's at Windsor Castle, and details about that when we get into the royals. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse there. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and get it started right now? We'll start moving, we'll start grooving, and all of the fun stuff in between where we can get you in to the people here at Feature Story News. And let's start chatting about that stuff because that seems to be importante.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Garg. China's defense minister on Thursday denounced hegemonic logic and acts of bullying at a Beijing forum that were full of thinly veiled references to the United States. Organizers say representatives from 100 countries are gathering for the Xiangshan Forum, considered China's answer to the annual Shangri-La meeting in Singapore. Laura Westbrook reports.
Speaking at the opening of the Security Forum, Defense Minister Don Jan said the world was overshadowed by Cold War thinking, hegemony and protectionism, and he also denounced acts of bullying, which was seen as a veiled reference to the United States amid its trade war with China. His remarks come 2 weeks after a huge military parade in Beijing, in which China unveiled a host of new weapons, including advanced intercontinental ballistic missiles, drones and laser technology. On the issue of Taiwan, which China claims as its own and has not ruled out taking by force if necessary, he said that its return was an integral part of the post-war international order. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
One of the biggest stars of late-night television in the US has been suspended indefinitely over comments he made relating to the assassination of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Jimmy Kimmel, who hosted the Oscars last year, is the highest-profile casualty of the Trump administration's insistence that employers must penalize anyone who has spoken negatively about Mr. Kirk's killing. From Washington, Simon Marks reports.
These are the comments that ended Jimmy Kimmel's career as he mocked President Trump's supporters over the motive for Charlie Kirk's assassination.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them.
On Wednesday, the Trump-appointed head of the Federal Communications Commission called those comments truly sick, and ABC then suspended Mr. Kimmel indefinitely. 2 days after the White House told employers they were obliged to fire anyone who said horrible things relating to Charlie Kirk's murder.
The US Federal Reserve has cut its benchmark interest rate for the first time this year and signaled 2 more to come. The Fed lowered lending rates by 25 basis points as widely expected. Kate Fisher has more.
There was only one dissenting push for a 50 basis point reduction by Trump-appointed Governor Stephen Miran. Looking ahead, the Fed board anticipates 2 more quarter percentage point cuts this year and 1 in 2026, a significantly more conservative outlook from the previously estimated 3. Fed Chair Powell described today's cut as risk management rather than a direct move aimed at shoring up a weak economy, emphasizing the need to support the labour market. He downplayed the risks of the Trump administration's tariffs on inflation, saying the pass-through to higher consumer prices has been small so far.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. We're going to take another look today at the life and times of Robert Redford, because as we noted yesterday, you cannot really encapsulate his career and contributions in just 90-odd seconds. The actor, director and committed environmentalist died on Tuesday at the age of 89. He was born in Santa Monica, had a relatively hard-scrabble existence as a child, and was deeply impacted by the death of his mother when he was in his late teens. But as a youngster, the craft of storytelling had an immediate appeal.
The most exciting things to hear when I was little was Once Upon a Time, because I grew up in a lower working class family. We didn't have much. My dad was a milkman, and we had to live on very little, but we had story. So every night when I'd go to bed, because I was a restless kid, I was always wanting to climb out the window and go somewhere else. So to settle me down, they'd tell me a story. And I couldn't wait for going to bed, because I didn't like the idea of going to sleep. I thought I'm going to be wasting time if I sleep, So the thing that calmed me down was I couldn't wait to be told this story.
He spoke there to America's PBS. Robert Redford had an unimpressive school record, was rebellious, and said family members feared he would never succeed. But a one-line part in a play on Broadway would change all that and propel him on the journey to stardom and relevance across a wide array of different disciplines. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here, but for now, that is the latest Feature Story News. Ishan Garg reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder Smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Anyways, let's continue talking about some of the stuff that is going on inside of the multiverse, because that is what we do around here. So, do you remember LimeWire? Well, the LimeWire, the brand behind the notorious file-sharing site used for swapping music files in the early days of like right around when Napster came around and all that stuff, or Napster was there and LimeWire was there. Well, they are the new owner of Fyre Fest, the brand, after winning the intellectual property auction. In a press release, the company LimeWire's acquisition is not about repeating past mistakes. It's about saving one of the internet's most infamous cultural memes from extinction and turning it into something new. Fyre became a symbol of hype gone wrong, but also made history. It added that they will not carry Fyre as a music festival, but instead create a real experience, and without the cheese sandwiches. Meanwhile, perhaps still singing with the sale, Billy McFarland on Tuesday posted a video explaining or attempting to explain further plans of the latest con with platform Phoenix. Anyone who posts content can get paid for talking about it, McFarland said. But then when they get paid, they don't get United States dollars or even Bitcoin. They get Phoenix coins. So worth noting, the guy who is launching the whole new brand that's about getting views just got 477 people to watch the video, and like 5 of those were ours reporting. So according to X public view data, so he's just a crypto con man now, out in the open apparently. However, McFarland last week did a repost and a tribute to Charlie Kirk instead of celebrating his murder. So at least he's a buffoon with a heart. So I don't know. A lot of stuff to talk about there. Anyways, I don't know what to tell you. It just becomes weird when it's all said and done. Okay, so take a listen to this, because this one is a strange one. Disney, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and NBC Universal have all teamed up to file a lawsuit against Chinese AI company alleging copyright infringement. The firm Minimax openly uses its program called Halio AI to generate images and videos of characters owned by those studios. The characters are specifically named. Representative example is the suit is Darth Vader under the Disney umbrella. The suit seeks unspecified damages, but gives Minimax the option to pay $150,000 per infraction, meaning that anytime if the user generates an image of Mickey Mouse, Superman, or Shrek, or other such characters owned by any of the studios, they will have to pony up that amount of money. That would add up quickly, according to Variety. Now, think about this, and I don't know if you use any AI generating tools or not, but if you do, it's kind of one of those very interesting ones when it's all said and done. Because listen, I have to tell you real quick, the way that it works around here is that when you generate these things, they are pulling images from stuff that's already copywritten. I mean, at least it looks like it, because some of them have such long similarities to some of the stuff that's already existing that it becomes extremely difficult to know which one is doing what. And I will tell you, I have looked at all kinds of AI stuff, and it's amazing to me on the knockoff aspect of some of these things. So I have a hard time believing, how is this one thing doing so much damage that it's worth $150,000 per event? I don't know. And listen, copyright infringement is copyright infringement, but it's kind of one of those weird worlds, because now we have to take a look at it and go, okay, some of this stuff is falling into public domain. So when we fall into public domain, what are we looking at here in regards to the copyright? It's going to get strange, and it's going to get strange relatively quick.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, some stuff to talk about as always. So take a listen to this. A study of primates in the jungles of Africa suggests a typical wild chimpanzee consumes the equivalent of 2 alcoholic drinks a day by consuming figs and plum-like fruits. The fruits individually have low alcohol content, about 0.3% by weight. By average, the chimp, mows down about 10 pounds worth of fruit every day. For a 90-pound primate, that would be about 14 grams of ethanol, equivalent to 2 cocktails for the typical human. The sustained low dose probably doesn't lead to any kind of boozy buzz, researchers say. Future studies will consider whether the chimp picked these fruit specifically for their alcohol content, or if they're just there for a quick sugar fix. This is for easy calories. This is according to CBS News. With everything going on, we're doing a chimp story. That's interesting. I mean, let's just say it that way, in that particular regards. So a lot of stuff going on inside of that particular multiverse. Anyways, before I forget, because I didn't really go into long deets yesterday, let's talk about this. On September the 30th, 2025, meaning this year, at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be doing a free virtual event. And what are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about that we're going to be doing an event about signal theory. Get ready to morph your theories into something more. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So you're more than welcome to come and hang out with us. There's a couple ways that you can get in. It's a free pass to get into this whole thing. And no, it's not one of these things that once you get there, it's going to be like, oh, we're going to sell you. We ain't selling you shit. All we're doing is talking about some of the stuff that's going on. So if you're on the screen arena, there is a QR code there. All you have to do is just give it a little scan. Once you give it a scan, it will take you directly on where you need to sign up, and that will get you into our sequence of events. If you are not on the screener and you are actually on the radio aspect or on the podcast, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says live event. Once you get there, boom, it adds all the information. Once you click there, it'll take you directly into the sign-up website, and we'll go there. Listen, it's going to be kind of one of those lunch and learn kind of gigs. Oops, wrong thing. Lunch and learn kind of gigs. We'll be there, hang out. I'm going to say 60 minutes, and then we'll kind of go through that, and it's just talking. It's just talking to talk in regards of going over signal theory and kind of the evolution of where we've gotten to in that particular regards. We will be talking essentially about some of the concepts that are inside of the book. Oh, yes. Inside of the Booker right here, the signal transmission trilogy. It's right there. We'll be talking about some of those concepts. Yeah, it's the 3 books in one: safety in my opinion, safety mutation, and safety transmission. We all kind of have the whole crux right there of everything that's going on. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse. Okay, let's talk some more about some other things that are going on, because, hey, that's what we need to do. I guess I should say that one more time. SafetyFM.com live events. SafetyFM.com. That will be taking place in 12 days. Yeah, 12 days. A lot of pressure. No, I'm kidding. No pressure whatsoever. We can hang out and talk and do all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, the hunt for 3,000-year-old priceless gold bracelet belonging to an ancient pharaoh is underway in Egypt. The bracelet was being restored in a laboratory when it went missing from the Egyptian Egyptian museum in Cairo, adorned with lapis beads and bracelet belonged to the king who ruled from 993 to 984 BC. Yes, I did say that. According to the Egypt Tourism and Aquilas Ministry, the part of the collection of artifacts that were to be transported to Rome for an exhibition titled Treasures of the Pharaohs next month, and a recent inventory confirmed that the bracelet was where it was supposed to be, while the other had no proof yet. Authorities believe that it's likely stolen. Security officials at the airport and land border crossing in Egypt are on heightened alert. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the verse of the multi. No doubt about that. Anyways, let's talk about this because some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Actress Paula Shaw has died. She passed away on September the 10th, according to a recent statement from the Max, a personal development workshop that she taught for 3 decades. No cause of death was given. Shaw is best known for their roles in Freddy vs. Jason and multiple Hallmark movies. Freddy versus Jason. Very interesting. She was 84 at the time of her passing. Also, rapper Cardi B is expecting her first child with boyfriend football player Stephon Diggs. She is due before the start of the Little Miss Drama Tour in February. While this was the first child together, Cardi has 3 other children with her ex-husband, rapper Offset. So, there you go. Also, in some other news, let's get into the Swampy Humpy. Let's see. Former President Joe Biden isn't making the cash that he thought that he would make after his first term. Or, as the Wall Street Journal reports, he is charting the post-presidency as less lucrative than expected when he was in office. He is living large off of the $10 million advance that he scored for his memoir, but he's in knee-deep debt, about $800,000 worth. So his son, who told the judge in 2023 that the debt in the millions of dollars range, if you forgot, that was to get out of paying child support, is combined with pensions, $250,000 a year for former president, and $166,000 a year for the first time. Congress is due a pretty comfortable life for a guy in retirement, but no one is interested in $500,000 of a pop fee for speaking engagements. Yeah, $500,000 for a speaking engagement. While the Clintons and Obamas jet around privately, Biden's have been relegated to American Airlines first class, where he was recently spotted. And for dessert, Biden saw a 20% increase in rent booth beach house property taxes this year. So that's according to the Wall Street Journal. I have to tell you, I understand speaker fees. I don't get me wrong. I have went around and taken a look at some of the stuff, and I understand because I get to interact with a whole bunch of bureaus right there. But man, when you start getting into these like crazy figures in regard to talking, like I remember hearing somebody saying that they charged $150,000 for a 1-hour speech. Like what are you giving me in this speech? In $500,000, and don't get me wrong, I mean, Joe Biden was a former president. I get it. But man, $500,000 for a speech? It's a shitload of money. Like, I would imagine, regardless of who the speaker is, it has to be like life-changing. That there has to be like a sign where maybe I'm going to be a multi-millionaire after that.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I mean, I'm just saying, just think about it for a moment. So, okay, take a listen to this. Let's talk about the numbers. The Dow increased by 260 points to close at this 46,018 on Monday, and the S&P fell 6 points to close at 6,600. The NASDAQ fell about 72 points to close at 22,261. West Texas Intermediate closed at $64 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $67 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.20 on Wednesday, and Bitcoin fell on the day nearly about 1% and trading just around $115.7 $1,000. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $423 million jackpot or $196.5 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. Okay. So let's kind of go through this little slow here. So we're going to go and talk about some of these things. Show business is what we're going to talk about at the moment. During his monologue on Monday night, Jimmy Kimmel commented, "We hit some new lows over the weekend, with the MAGA gang trying to characterize the kids who killed Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them." He was spreading information that Tyler Robinson was a right-wing maniac. And then a massive group at ABC affiliates called Next Star Media, told the network it would be preempting airing of Kimmel's late night show for the foreseeable future as a direct result of Kimmel's comments. And in response, ABC announced that it would be taking Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely. In a statement, Nexstar said, "Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not a public interest at the current time. And we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in effort to let cooler heads prevail as we move forward to the resumption of respectful, constructive dialogue." As of Charlie Kirk on Twitter in October the 5th of 2017, he wrote, "Jimmy Kimmel isn't funny." In some other news, let's continue talking about this. The Biden administration had a direct line of communication to Twitter moderators in 2021 and told them which accounts to ban for asking crazy questions like, why are people losing their jobs for refusing to take the vaccine? So there you go. There is some stuff there. Also worth asking, maybe Kimmel and Colbert can start a Substack in a podcast, is what some jackass wrote online. Also, meanwhile, actor Michael Keaton, the latest celebrity to face backlash for a reaction to death of Charlie Kirk. Keaton spoke about the assassination during his speech of investigative reporters and editors of 50th anniversary gala last week. While noting that Kirk leaves behind a wife and 2 kids, he concluded his thoughts by saying it ironic that he was killed with a gun, referring to Kirk's support of the Second Amendment. On social media, users called Keaton a moron, adding that the 3rd grade education on the display again, according to X. So I don't know. Divisive figures will divide. So there you just kind of go in regards of what's going on. Don't know what to tell you there. It's a very interesting time inside of this lifetime, that is for sure. Okay, so with that being said, 32 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out and doing our thingo. So let's get into the story of the main of the story, because I think it is time for us to do that stuff.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, main story time as we are hanging out and doing the things that we get to do. That is for sure. So I have to tell you, I get to do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that to an extent that it's not even funny. So listen, I know that here in the morning, we're hanging out in front of the microphone. We're hanging out in front of the cameras. We're doing the stuff. We got the lights and all that fun stuff. And that's great. I mean, that's great. But I get to do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and I get to have conversations with people where we're looking at some things to be able to move forward to, and so on. That is fantastic. I enjoy doing that. But it's amazing that when you're starting to plan out some of these larger scale events and how some of this stuff works, on how some of these things will take place, take shape, take form, because we are looking at it and going, okay, how are we going to start a conversation about human and organizational performance? And I tell people we need to start where people are at opposed to where we want to be at. Because listen, I will tell you, last week I walked into a room and I had an idea of where we were going to go and where we had the information on what needed to be done. And then we came to the conclusion immediately that some of the stuff that we were going to talk about was kind of advanced. We had some advanced level stuff. So I decided that we should probably cut back some of the stuff that I was doing and that we should also kind of cut back some of the stuff that some of the other people were doing because it was too advanced for the class. It was too advanced for what we were trying to do. So as I sit back today and to get to have this lovely opportunity to hang out with you and talk about stuff, I go, what is your go-to? What is the first thing you take a look at and say, let's have the convo? Let's have the conversation of about human and organizational performance. And a lot of people do not have a good starting point. Now, listen, I will tell you, Sam Goodman came up with something a while ago for learning teams, or operational learning, how he likes to call it. That is a starting point to have conversations. But we still run into, where do we start the conversation if someone has never heard of HOP? This right here is still my all-time go-to. This is a book by Todd Conklin called Simple Revolutionary Acts. And I tell you, it's ideas to revolutionize yourself in your workplace. This is, like I tell people all the time, one of my favorite books. It is one of the smallest books you'll ever interact with, too. 63 pages. Not a joke. 63 pages. And it will share all of the information with you on how to revolutionize your workplace. And I will tell you, this is kind of entry level in regards to starting to talk about human and organizational performance. And some people are going to go, but I've read the book. It doesn't give me principles 1 through 5. That's perfectly fine. That is not what we're looking at. What we are looking at here is that this is entry level stuff in regards of starting the conversation. Now, this is not a book that I would hand out to everyone starting, but it depends on, let me rephrase that. I would not hand this out if somebody already knows the 5 principles. But if I was introducing this to someone and I was saying, hey, we need to change some stuff, this book would be the book that I would start with. And this would be the book that I would be like, this is the conversation we need to start with. Some people, I mean, I will tell you, there are some dated portions inside of the book. I'm not going to lie and be like, oh, the book is so different, because there are some dated stuff. And that's just kind of what happens. You have to take a look sometimes of what was going on in the timeline before you start going, well, I can't believe that was written. But what you have to look at is the overall general purpose of the book, on what was it trying to accomplish? What was it trying to do at the time? So with that being said, if you need someone to start the journey with you, the best place they can go is to that book, Simple Revolutionary Acts. 63 pages. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it. I actually did the audiobook. And yeah, I will tell you, it will change things for you. I will not sit here and tell you, oh yes, my Signal trilogy is advanced version. But when you get into it, there is some expectancy of having some understanding of some of the other stuff that is going on. Now, we try to give some breakdown of some of the other people's work that's out there, because I think it's very difficult for me to sit back and go, oh yes, this is one and all. What I try to do with the Signal trilogy book, mine, of course, is that I try to give a breakdown of everything that's been to that point, at least the way that I saw the journey. But if you need a starting point, Simple Revolutionary Acts is a great place to start. If you're looking for a starting point when it comes to learning teams and you don't know where to start, I would tell you, start off with Sam Goodman's starting points cards. And if you're kind of going through some of the stuff where you're wanting to do it grassroots style, taking a look at some of that stuff when it comes to learning teams, Bob and Andrea Baker's stuff that they have going on, the book that they put out, the operational guidebook, great book. And then if you want to look at some of the other stuff that kind of is different level in regards of how to do it using technology and all that, Learning Team Inc. with Brett Sutton and Jeffrey Lith, not a bad place to be. So, like I say, you need to adapt to whatever the hell's going on. You need to adapt to who the target is, opposed to saying, this is what I would use. This is why I kind of go around and I interact with a whole bunch of people and take a look around at what the hell they have going on, because I think it's so important to be able to bring that back to the market and say, hey, listen, this is what will be best based on where you're at, opposed to saying, this is the best of the best, and then giving you something that's so advanced it doesn't make a lot of sense. I know. So think about that today. Meet people where they're at. Don't meet people where you want them to be at, because that's not always going to be the way that it works.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference. From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion. The book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Been waiting a long time. Can't hide, so I let it in. Each step through the dark, I feel it all, feel it all. Break off from the shoreline. Choose all that I've never been. Her voice is the North Star, through it all, through it all. All it calling me, never look back through the deepest red street. Falling and burning blue fire going up in my head.
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. The song playing right now is called Darkest Angel. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Songs offered to you by Brad Author. The Darkest Angel. We would like to thank Brad for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show, because that's kind of what we do. It's all kinds of fun stuff as we are hanging out. No doubt about that. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into the move and the groove of all the stuff going on. Let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And the people at To Write Love on Our Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there'll be information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about this because some people are going to want to know about it, no doubt there. But let's talk about clock shock. Yep, clock shock. Does changing your clock make you fatter? With clocks set to turn back an hour across much of Canada and the U.S. on November the 2nd. Yeah, get it, set, go. Okay, new research highlights that the toll of the seasonal time changes takes on your health. A Stanford-led study found that shifting twice a year disrupts your circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock, raising the risk of obesity, stroke, and other conditions. Using mathematical models and CDC data, researchers estimated that the permanent standard time could prevent nearly 3 million U.S. cases of obesity, stroke, combined with permanent daylight time, with benefits for about 2 million people. The study concludes that the standard time offers the greatest health protection, though, either option is better than binaural switch. Experts say that consistent morning light exposure strengthens the circadian system and improving immunity and energy. Despite growing evidence, most Canadian provinces and U.S. states and many other countries still follow the century-old daylight savings tradition. Obesity, stroke, and crackness. Yes, I did say crackness. Sounds like a family reunion to me. Standard time is better for your health. Daylight time is better for the patios. Tough call. So there you go. What do you think? Because there's been that debate for a while. Standard time or daylight savings time. I don't know. I remember at one point they were trying to stay in daylight saving time across the year here in Florida. And the funny part was that Florida was going to be one of the only places that stood that way. I mean, it would have its own time zone. I kept on wondering, would it be called Florida time? Because, man, does that have all kinds of interesting stuff altogether. So I don't know. How do you feel about the time change thing? I mean, I know that we're still kind of like 6 weeks out before that takes place. But, man, what a pain in the ass this thing becomes from time to time. Just some stuff to think about, of course, because that's what we do. We think, we talk, we move, we groove, and do all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk about something a little bit more positive. I have a gentleman by the name of John Small, who's waiting to talk to you about the Motivation Minute. So why don't we bring him in now, and that way we can be motivated about talking about the minute that's all important. So here's some John Small coming your way right now.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Gary. George Eliot said, "It will never rain roses. When we want to have more roses, we must plant more roses." I love this. It reminds me that every beautiful flower started as a tiny seed. It required water and dirt and sun to become the beautiful flower we see. Sometimes we forget these things. So if you want to grow, think of yourself as that seed. Get out there and see the sun, drink plenty of water, and be prepared to spend some time in the dirt. It can be a tough fight some days, but I believe this will help you become the beautiful flower you can be. Okay, I know, it's a pretty cheesy example, but I think it can also be a helpful reminder.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. According to my friend Owen Carr, the first law of harvest is you must plant the seed before you can reap a harvest. The farmer would have to be pretty dumb to think that he could put the seed in his pocket and expect to reap a harvest. Yet that is what people do every day in the spiritual realm. Instead of planting the seed, they hang on to it, never realizing that that which they keep never grows. One man gives freely, yet gains even more. Another man withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed. That's Proverbs 11. Lord Jesus, help us to understand the laws of harvest so we can bless others. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Israeli forces have begun an expanded ground operation in Gaza City.
This move aims to take control of the area amid ongoing conflict. The operation escalates the war, despite international calls for restraint. Officials report increased military activity along the border. Casualties have been noted on both sides in recent clashes. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
A British aristocrat and her boyfriend received 14-year prison sentences for killing their newborn daughter.
The couple was fleeing authorities at the time of the incident. The court described the act as deliberate and tragic. Investigations revealed they attempted to conceal the crime during their escape. Sentencing occurred after a detailed trial process. Chris Anderson reporting.
Russia and Belarus conducted the Zapad 2025 military exercises near the Polish border.
The drills simulate defense against a potential Western attack. Troops from both nations participated in joint maneuvers. The exercises involved advanced weaponry and tactical simulations. Observers noted heightened tensions in the region. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
FBI Director Kash Patel announced DNA evidence links the alleged gunman to the shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
The suspect reportedly confessed in a private online chat group. Investigators are examining gaming and dark web influences on the individual. The case involves potential radicalization factors. Charges could include capital murder. Liam White reporting.
President Donald Trump ordered National Guard deployment to Memphis to address rising crime rates.
The move targets urban violence and drug-related issues in the city. Local officials coordinate
coordinated with federal teams for the operation. Deployment includes support for law enforcement efforts. Community leaders expressed mixed views on the initiative. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio traveled to Qatar for diplomatic talks.
The visit focuses on regional stability and recent security incidents. Discussions involve key allies in the Middle East. Rubio met with Qatari officials to strengthen bilateral relations. Outcomes aim to resolve ongoing tensions, Kevin Sanders reporting.
The U.S. military conducted a second deadly strike against suspected narco-terrorists in international waters.
President Trump confirmed the operation targeted drug trafficking vessels. 3 individuals were killed in the action. The strikes support broader efforts against cartels. Naval forces ensured compliance with international protocols. Kyle Norris reporting.
The August jobs report showed unemployment rose to 4.3%, the highest since 2021.
Only 22,000 new positions added in the U.S. economy. Several sectors experienced job losses, including government and manufacturing. Economists monitor indicators for potential recession signals. Federal Reserve decisions may follow in response. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, let's lay off the gas station sushi is definitely what it sounds like. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2022, in a CBS interview, President Joe Biden says that we still have a problem with COVID, but the pandemic was over. Biden's statement comes a week after the WHO reported the deaths from the virus were the lowest since March of 2020 when the pandemic started. So that happened back on this date in 2022. Let's talk about some birthdays going on today. Jason Sudeikis turns 50. Exhibit turns 51. James Marsden turns 52. Lance Armstrong 54. Jada Pinkett Smith turns 54. Let's see. Capadonna turns 57. Ricky Bell 58. Holly Robinson 61. Joanne Cathrell turns 63. Dee Dee Ramone 74. Darla Sitters turns 75. Carly Livgren turns 76. And Frankie Avalon turns 85 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, it's National First Love Day. National Cheeseburger Day. I think I'm going to celebrate that one. International Equal Pay Day, Air Force Day, and Hug a Greeting Card Writer Day. Really? That's like a thing? I wasn't even aware of that. So there you go. If you need a rando for today, I am sure that I can help you out because that's the way that it goes. It's something like this. My wife said I'm getting fat, but in my defense, I've had a lot of my plate recently. Something to think about. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. If you had to eat one food every day for the rest of your life, what would you choose? Hands down, tacos. There you go. That's not even a conversation. That's done. Done. So there you go. What else? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. What is the first thing 25% of people do when they go home from work? What is it? Turn on the TV. That is the numero uno thing that some people do once they arrive into casa. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I'll be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so, I'll be going over there talking about the world of music and entertainment because that is what we do over there. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can still hang out here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. Kind of what he does. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So if you're good to go, I'm good to go. No doubt about that. So if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Wake up with determination and go to bed with satisfaction. That sounds like it goes somewhere entirely different. We'll leave that alone. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. I love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios. as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
Show me the way. Darkness will fall and break through the wall. Let go and feel the rain. Fighting pure. Heaven can wait. 'Cause I give it all as I hear you call the monster inside of me. And I give it all till I don't have anything left. Fly down and down to the end, yeah. Follow her goal, and I know that I can rewrite it all. The darkest of angels will sing you.